Welcome, one and all, or the five of you that are listening now, because it's been officially the number. That's officially the number that's been going on.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah. So yeah, no, and we would like to double it, quadruple it, whatever amount that. I mean, we can like to keep it going. But once again, here is the Husky Badaboos podcast. This is Ariel and
Jonathan.
see. So we actually are looking at each other's mugs, looking at the glorious beards that we are accumulating to keep the namesake of the podcast and be truthful, as Shakespeare said in Hamlet. To this above all, to that own self be true. So we are being true to ourselves that we are Huskies and Barboos.
That we can't change.
Yeah, as we were talking about that just before we started recording. That yeah, it's a monumental effort trying to lose this weight.
Yes, it is.
But it's so goddamn easy to keep it.
Oh yeah, the luscious food.
Yeah, I mean, it just gives us like a conveyor belt of never-ending food that just makes you bloated and makes you bigger and bigger and bigger, and like eventually we will just end up looking like Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, let's not do that. Nah, I'm trying not to get that way, but
Yeah,
keep it to a limit. You know.
Then we will really live up to our namesake. Big pun.
Big pun, fat joke.
And fat joke.
Inside joke.
That's an inside joke. Yeah, whoever gets it gets it. If you don't get it, then just keep ignoring because you don't know. So we send ourselves some assignments during the week. I was pretty harsh on you because you hadn't seen Beverly Hills Cop, but I kind of forgive you because that was way before your time. Before you were, I mean,
85.
It's like Kevin's 84. I think it was 84, and I think like Kevin Smith usually tells people when they watch a movie of his and they weren't even born, they say, "Oh my God, you were cum."
You were in the ball sacks.
You were in your dad's balls when that movie was made. You were cum.
I don't even know if my parents knew each other that in '84.
Well,
I mean, might have. They might have just been going through the phases at that point.
Yeah, maybe he was already getting her ear all heated up, talking to her, sweet talking and whatnot.
Yeah, it's the way my parents met. I didn't really get the full story, but I mean, who knows if I was, whatever happened. They've been together ever since. The rest is history.
Yeah. So you did see Beverly Hills Cop?
I did see it this morning. I was washing clothes. I was in the basement, and that's where my washer and dryers are. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. Bring the iPad down. I can watch it for free because it's on Paramount Plus.
Shout out for a plug and also pay to promote yourself in this podcast. So all 5 listeners can subscribe.
Subscribe, and if you want to shout out, just let us know. We'll put you out there.
Yeah.
But I was washing clothes
like they need it anyway.
Exactly, what they needed. So I was washing clothes. I had like 4 or 5 loads. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna put it on the iPad and watch it, and it was good. I mean, what is it with movies that were done back in the late '80s or early '80s that they have to go through the whole fucking town that the movie starts from? Showing people walking through the streets,
it's
showing big monument.
Yeah, the whole intro.
Like, I was like, what the fuck? And I seen it because I watched the movie. I don't know if you watch it, Major Leagues.
Major Leagues, yeah, classic.
Classic, yes, love the movie. When they first started that movie, you went through the whole fucking city.
Because it's always like an homage to the city that starts it all. But then again, the movie's called Beverly Hills Cop, not Detroit Cop.
Exactly. I mean, he started out in Detroit.
But he's because the spoilers for a 40-year-old movie. He's a Detroit cop.
Yeah, detective.
He's a Detroit detective. Axel Foley.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy's character is.
Eddie Murphy character.
So something happens. Well, his friend goes visit to him. goes visiting him. He's working in Beverly Hills for some art dealer. I guess that's what the front of the business is. And he stole some bear bonds from the art dealer.
German bear bonds. Was
Yeah,
it?
yeah. He stole some German bear bonds because Axel was a hoodlum back in the day, but he reformed and now is a police. But in Detroit, which it seems that even in 1984, it's still a fucked up place.
Yeah.
It's still a fucked up place. So they were having a good time drinking and going out, talking shit, and also some bromance.
Yeah.
And then while they were going back to their apartment, they get mugged. Apparently, well, they knock out Axel, and his friend gets killed by the art dealer's goons. Yes. And that's where that is the instigation of what the whole thing starts. I love the scene where the captain always steals the show. Every time Axel Foley's captain always talking, he always steals the show. Oh my
god!
That captain has the quickest comebacks. Oh, it's like when in the beginning of the movie when he did his little stunt and stole.
Got my ass chewed off.
Yeah.
You see, I had
no. He said no. The mayor called the chief. The chief called the deputy chief. The deputy chief chewed my ass off. You see, I don't got no bit of the left on it, don't you? And where the fuck you get that fucking truck from anyway? The Dayboy hijack. The Dayboy hijack hasn't been here since the last week. They haven't even been in the goddamn town.
And then I love at the end, he goes, go home.
Axel told him,
yeah,
boss,
said,
you still got some ass in you.
Still got some ass. Don't fuck with me, Axel.
Don't fuck with me, Axel. Not now. Go on. Go home. No, and when they were outside his apartment, when Axel was cleaning up his, and he's telling, he was telling him like, okay, this shit all looks all bad because one, a hoodlum friend, two, a professional hit, three, in a cop's apartment. This whole thing stinks to high heaven. And it was like, how do you know this was a professional? I didn't come here from the cotton fields. God damn it. You say that shit now, then you be like, canceled. Canceled.
There's tons of shit. I started watching number 2 though. And
I told you it wasn't as good as 1.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
I told you it wasn't as good. I mean, it's good, but it's not as good. And they kind of repeat one of the same jokes. Like, well, you saw his friend. Did you get to the scene that the friend went to his boss's office and took the phone call to make sure if it was true that he was investigating the crime?
Yeah, I haven't watched. I got to the part where he just left the office, and he gave them the blue slip for him to give them $1,000 to just flash around.
Okay.
That's where I got, and then he flew to L.A. because the captain from the L.A. squad was killed.
Well, almost killed. No,
yeah.
Almost killed.
Almost killed.
Yeah, Bogermill.
In the hospital.
Bogermill, I believe that's his name.
And then he went.
Which was the bad guy in RoboCop?
I didn't watch RoboCop either. Anyway.
Well, I'm not gonna say. No. You weren't even born when that movie came out.
Yeah,
it was
you're
87.
Not gonna get me at that one.
No. You weren't even born. I'm gonna be more submissive and be more like, yeah, he wasn't even born there. How can I be like?
But I am an Eddie Murphy fan. That's why I don't mind watching his movie.
No, but that's when he was in his true form, though. And didn't I tell you that the Damon Wayans scene was gonna be?
Oh my god! How much for the bananas? Oh, well, they're part of the.
And Damon Wayans with hair.
Yeah, that was scary. I was just like, I had a double take.
Yeah,
I had a double take.
I was like, that Damon Wayans? That Damon Wayans?
That Nah, that can't be him.
Damon Wayans. You gotta understand though, all the Wayans, they became famous was because of Eddie Murphy, because they were hanging out. They were Eddie Murphy's writers.
Really?
Yes. Eddie Murphy was the one that gave him the start. Like Keenan Ivory Wayans and Damon Wayans, they were the two Wayans brothers that started out with Eddie, and they were like his writers. They helped him write his jokes. When he was doing still stand up, and then Eddie helped him out with his influence and made them what they are now. And look what the Wayans dynasty is like, fucking huge.
Fucking family, even the kids, bro.
God damn, it's like 2 generations of Wayans now that are killing it. just killing it. So
Yeah, I think one of the kids was he had
Damon
a
Wayans
main
Jr.
gig. Yeah, he had a main gig on one of the shows on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the name of it, but then he I think they got picked up by like Hulu or something. So he continued working his
Yeah.
job.
So yeah, that not to throw shade at the Wayans because I that fucking family is talented as fuck, but like I mean I don't even think that they would even mind saying that they owe their success to Eddie. They wouldn't mind saying it.
You gotta give Eddie his props. I
Yeah.
mean, I saw Sean at Levity Live in Palisades,
Ooh.
and he was pretty good.
And Marlon, I think he's still doing a stand up.
Marlon's
Marlon.
still doing stand up. He was
Damon
there.
Damon just came back to stand up now.
Damon just came back because he doesn't have his show anymore. He did the reboot of
Uh,
Leak the Weapon on
yeah,
Channel
yeah,
5.
but the guy who played Riggs turned out to be an
Well,
asshole. Apparently,
well, I heard some other shit about Damon.
no, those two didn't like each other. That's basically it.
They didn't like each other, but what's his name? What I read was he was being an asshole on
Mm-hmm,
set,
mm-hmm,
and he was making working conditions unsafe,
mm-hmm.
and that's why the other guy was just like wiling out. But because he wasn't a big name and Wayne was, they let him get away with shit. So he wasn't up for that shit. So they fired him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you saw, Janet Brewster didn't return to the show because she
Yeah,
quit because of the fact that they fired him because of unwork safe. So she's like, "Fuck this! I'm not getting involved with this anymore." She just
yeah,
left herself.
yeah, and that pretty much killed the show.
That did kill the show because what's his name came was it
Uh,
Sean Williams?
yeah,
Is
Sean
that his
William
name?
Scott, the guy,
He couldn't. He couldn't fill
Stifler,
the, He
Stifler, I
couldn't fill
think it
that. Yeah,
was.
Stifler. He couldn't fill that shoe that guy had because that guy was perfect for that role.
Yeah, and change the character. So you killed the Riggs and
Yeah,
Murtaugh
yeah,
combo.
exactly.
You,
So
you,
that show only lasted one. It only lasted another season, and I don't even think they ordered the full season.
by the way, Lethal Weapon 5 is gonna happen.
With who? The original cast?
The original cast, and Mel Gibson is gonna direct, with the blessing of Richard Donner because Richard Donner passed away a few years ago, or I think last year that he passed away. But Richard Donner before dying, because they were already gonna do it with Richard Donner. Richard Donner is the original director of the all four movies, by the way, and he also directed the first Superman movie, Goonies. He's a prolific director. He's working with Mel Gibson a bunch of billion times, like almost
He has a
like
good
50%,
resume.
like 50% of Mel
Mel
Gibson's
Gibson.
filmography was directed by that dude. Because and so, but you know that Mel Gibson, like you could say whatever the heck you want about Mel Gibson, but you got to give him props as a director. He's a
Well, I
he's
mean,
he's a good
he
director. He's a
he
good
only
director.
really had like that weird one fucked up Jesus Christ movie. And to tell you the truth, I didn't watch it. I don't know what the big whole deal about it is. I didn't want to
I watched it.
really get involved in it
I,
because it's
Look,
you
the
know
thing about that movie is one graphic violence because it shows in epic detail how they flag Jesus, and you see even they ripping pieces of his flesh. Is and he removed the controversial line that was in the Bible that makes the whole thing very anti-Semitic. But I didn't really see. I saw the movie and I didn't see the anti-Semitic thing that they were accusing the movie of having because they're saying, oh, it was because the whole thing is discussing that it was the Jews that killed Jesus, but the movie shows clearly that the actual sentencing was done by the Romans. So I don't see what was the
like I said,
problem.
that's the biggest thing I ever seen him the controversy. It was that movie.
I mean, I
I
didn't. I've
mean,
seen pieces of Apocalypto. I haven't never seen the whole movie because I can only tolerate a foreign language movie once. and the
I
Passion of the
can't at
Christ,
all.
the Passion of the Christ was all Aramaic, all Aramaic. They had to
Yeah.
resurrect the dead language to make that movie because he wanted to make it as accurately as possible.
So I mean,
And that movie pretty much also killed the movie career of Jim Caviezel, who played Jesus. That
I
pretty
don't know
much
who
killed.
that is.
He was going to be a big star. I mean, he did a couple of movies before that, and he was like on his way. But then he did the last that Passion of the Christ thing. It's funny that we were talking last week about the Last Temptation of Christ, and now we're talking about the Passion of the Christ, like two of the most controversial
Yeah, but
religious
that's because
movies.
we get, but Mel Gibson, because we were talking about Lethal
Yeah,
Weapon and all that.
yeah,
So I
but
mean,
it's still within the spectrum in terms of
yeah,
talking about two movies about Jesus. But anyways, so yeah, we were saying that Richard Donner, before he passed away, he told Mel, like, if anything happens to me, you got that detail. You got my blessing to direct the fifth movie, because they're already in pre-production
he
Richard
passed away.
when he passed away, so they were already talking about it. And Mel and Danny Glover were like, yeah, we're in. But I don't know how this movie is going to be, because the last one that they did was already addressing the fact that they were too old for that shit. And now both of them have gray hairs. Danny Glover is like he's he's like in his 80s?
You got,
He
you
must
got
be
offers
he
for these guys?
like Danny Glover is like in his 80s, I think.
Are we gonna use like green screens and just
I
put
don't
their
know.
heads on these bodies?
And Mel is like 67. I mean, he's in shape for a guy in his age, but still 67, dude. That's up there. That's up there. And I don't think he can do much running scenes like have you seen the
Glover
original?
is 76.
And Mel is like 67. I think, yeah, because Mel was born in the same year my dad. Was born in the same year my dad.
Mel 66.
But
Do you
he's
know he was born in Peekskill?
in New York.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mel Gibson was born in
Yeah.
Peekskill.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I knew he was born in New York.
You know, it's fucking interesting, man. Like I
Because he's Australian. He's Australian because he lived most of his life in Australia.
but he was born.
But he was born in New York.
He was born in Peekskill, and then his parents, and then moved with his parents to Australia when he was 12 years old. So he lived here for 12 years.
Yeah, and then he got the accent in Australia. I don't. Well, he knows how to do accents.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
like
there's
like in
a lot
in
of
Braveheart, he
these.
did the I think the Scottish accent he did. Right, he did a Scottish accent in Braveheart.
I tell you, I don't. I'm. You know, you watch more movies. You're more
I
open.
I have half of the IMDb data in my
Is
brain.
that, you remind me of a friend that I used to work with. His name was David. I worked with him for 11 years, 10
Mm-hmm.
years, 11 years. It's the job before Amazon. Before that, you know, the one that I was there for 11 years.
Uh-huh.
You remind me of him because your guys' minds with movies and just books, comics, you just remember a lot of it. You grab the detail.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from him because, and just like I'm doing with you, but we're just making content about it. I mean,
Uh-huh.
if we and you got together, it, you know, we'll be like a 5 hour podcast if we just sat down, me and you, and just talked face to face. Because I like hearing about movies. I never was a book guy. I'm never gonna read because that's just me. I just, if it's interesting,
Mm-hmm.
I'll read it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a biography of like a baseball player that I love, or
No,
like
I've
I'm a
read a couple of
true.
books from here and there.
Yeah, but you're a magazine guy. You know you like comics. That's what my other friend was into. Not comics like you, like you're like all like a lot of comics. He was more like Reacher,
Mm-hmm.
like Jack Reacher. He, as he was driving to work, would listen to the book.
Okay. Yeah, that's another method that I want to apply, because sometimes it's very difficult to pick up a book and just read and
Yeah,
read.
and that's how he was doing it. Like he stopped reading books because, like you, it's difficult to pick up your eyes. You stare at a computer all day. So he
Yeah.
liked that enjoyment of from
No,
Yonkers to New York City or to Queens, wherever you lived. He listened to a book, and he was always
mm-hmm.
in traffic. So he would finish like a
and
chapter because he was
and
always in traffic.
and you know that tradition, like for example, even books like I don't mean to put this back to religious terms, but since the thing that I know the most, one of the books that I know the most is the Bible. the Bible was first in oral tradition. It was told orally. So whoever wrote the 5 first books, like I guess the Jews call it the Torah, we call it.
Yeah.
The Torah is the first 5 books. They actually they consider that as one book, the Jews, but we heathens had separated it into 5 just to make it simple. What we actually complicated, but that's not either here or there. So
yeah, let's not get to that.
yeah, let's not get there. Anyways, it was all told by oral tradition. So the belief is that whoever wrote the Torah, which traditional Christianity, the traditional Christianity thing says it was Moses. I doubt it because how he would write his own death. So yeah, kind of difficult. like let me think how I'm gonna die.
I want to die. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that kind of makes it difficult. So like, yeah, I call bullshit on that end. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The thing is that it was oral tradition told generation by generation how things happen, and that's how we got those books. It was somebody just decided, okay, let's write it down. Okay, but
this might be important one day.
Yeah, this might be important, so they wrote it down. So if you blame some of the stories that you have a little problems like finding logic in it, then blame whoever wrote it. Because it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Anyway,
you call me on the counter.
We really go around the bushes with these things. Jesus Christ! So we were talking about Berlioz Cobb.
Yeah. So, like I said, I got to the second part. He was in the hospital. They read they were reviewing the letters.
Mm-hmm. Because this movie, part 2, was more about gun trafficking.
I don't know that yet.
Yeah. Oh shit! Sorry, fucked it up.
So anyway,
part 1 was about coke.
Yes.
It was about drugs. It was coke. He was the dude, the art dealer.
They put it into
coffee grain,
so they don't smell it.
Exactly. So the dogs, when they sniff it, they wouldn't.
Exactly.
Because coffee has a very potent odor.
Well, they like my brother. You worked for like a, when you go into those malls and you go into like JCPenney or like any of those stores, and then you could try perfumes and cologne.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he worked at one of those cologne stands, and they actually said coffee grinds or beans resets your nose, your smell.
Mm-hmm.
So you spray something, you smell it, and then to redo it, he goes, okay, smell this. Then you smell it, and it resets your thing like that. Like it's fucking amazing what coffee or beans and grinds do to your fucking nose. It like just resets your whole fucking body of smell. So yeah. So I did that, and then, like I said, I think Lux came in to separate the 3 of them. You know, the detective Eddie Murphy and the other 2. And I think that's where
Taggart and Rosewood.
Yeah, Rosewood or Rosie as they call.
Yeah, Rosewood.
Everyone keeps calling him
Judge Reinhold. By the way, that's the name of the actor who plays Rosewood.
Yeah, I remember he played a couple like movies.
He did a couple of movies. He was famous for a minute in the 80s, then in the 90s he went kaput.
No, but there was, what was it? Didn't he play in Santa Claus with Tim Allen? He was
he was a stepdad. Yes, the psychologist.
I think that's where I more recently remember Christmas.
But he took a nosedive because back in the 80s he was in Fast Times in Richmond High. He also did this movie with Fred Savage that he played Fred Savage's dad, and they switched places like Freaky Friday.
Okay.
That Fred Savage was now the adult.
I remember that though. I think I do remember.
Yeah, because Richie Aprile was one of the bad guys in that movie from The Sopranos. The guy who played Richie Aprile.
I'm more faces, dude. You know names, I'm faces.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know the name of the actor, but he was even in Miami Vice. That actor who played Richie Aprile.
Wasn't that with Don Johnson? Or
Yeah. I mean, everybody was in Miami Vice. Everybody.
Well,
I'm not bullshitting. Like Liam Neeson was a bad guy in Miami Vice.
And you probably wouldn't even recognize.
Exactly. There was a bunch of actors that were in Miami Vice.
Beverly Hills, fucking hair. Fucking guy's bald now.
Hey man, I ain't no putting no banana in my tailpipe. Ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
And the funny thing is that the second team that went after him,
Yeah.
they fucking lost him too.
Yeah. I like
Yeah,
it. I liked it. I liked it when Axel took them to the titty bar.
Oh, God.
That dancing.
Your sergeant over here. I didn't tell you if he has
That fucking the fucking dancing like.
But see, Rosewood, you could have a hard on. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. That fucking in the titty bar, and then when he recognized the two dudes, because he called it. He called it like, yeah, these dudes. They just
the whole thing. He called it because he heard it in the fucking warehouse.
No, but also they saw the dudes with the trench coats that went into the titty bar.
But didn't he hear that titty bar from the warehouse? Those two people.
I don't think so. But
he said, "Oh, we found this great spot. I'm gonna bring you to," and he told him where it was.
Oh yeah.
Those two connected.
Yeah, no. He just noticed because he saw those two guys in the middle of June wearing trench coats, and in California weather. So I was like, yeah, isn't it too warm to be wearing those kind of coats here in California?
He's fucking wearing a sweater.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, he's from Detroit, so you can practically forgive him.
Yeah, he must be dying then.
Yeah. But the whole dancing, and then when he went to one of the guys, like, "Hey, Philip, hey man, how you doing?"
I thought that was you.
That dude told me it wasn't you, but I thought that was Phil. Yeah, give me a kiss, baby.
No, why are you so mean?
Or when he went to find the guy. The bad guy in the movie, and he went to the Herald Club. He started acting all gay, like yes.
Yeah. You tell him that I got a test done. You have hepatitis B. I think you could tell him. Okay.
Jesus Christ. Like when I was a kid and I saw that movie as a kid, by the way, as a child. That joke went right by my head. I was like, I don't know why that's so funny. Now as an adult, now as an adult, they were that butt fucking. Okay. Oh, this time you were talking about butt fucking. Okay.
You shouldn't have seen that movie as a child, man.
Dude, I was unsupervised. Both of my parents had 2 jobs each. I was unsupervised. Like me and my brother, we just had carte blanche to do whatever the fuck we wanted. There was nobody home. There ain't nobody home. They sent a couple of cousins of mine. All they were girls. They fought all the time. Some of them you actually know. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Some of them you actually know. One of them, even we're fighting between 2 sisters, which are cousins of mine. One of them you actually know. And I hope you get that hint.
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Yeah, internal joke anyway. So they started a fight, and the one that you know ducked, the other one punched, and she hit a window. All while taking care of me. And they had to call the ambulance, and they had to stitch her up. She had like 20 stitches on her arm because she went all full force. She didn't stop when she hit. She went full force. She went straight. She went straight. So he wasn't aiming at her just to give her a little boo boo.
Oh, no, she fuck her up.
Yeah, Mike Tyson in the flesh just manifested inside of her and just, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Come here, man. Come here.
I'm gonna fuck you up, man. I'm gonna fuck you up.
Oh my goodness.
So, anyways, yeah, like in the 80s, I had carte blanche. Like, and by the way, the second job my dad had, video rental store. So guess what? I was watching movies 24/7. Hence why this stupid fucking knowledge I have in my fucking head.
It's not stupid. It's it's good knowledge.
Yeah.
You're teaching me. You're telling me.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it is that when you get older, you're like, oh, the old times were better, and this bullshit. And I thought like I was never gonna be like that. Turned into that shit. Fucking turned into that motherfucker.
I mean, the world and just the world and life back then was just much simpler.
Yeah, like
And I'm 34 fucking years old, and I'm saying it was just simpler. It was.
it was. I mean, yes,
It's
there
like
were.
after
There
2000, everyone survived. They were like, oh, we're still here? Oh
uh-huh.
my God. Oh,
Look,
well, let's just fucking act a fool now.
back then, like and I'm not saying this is right, and I'm not saying this is wrong, but you can make fun of each other and not get insulted. You know,
Well,
tougher
was
skin.
definitely a lot better back
It
then.
was
I mean,
everybody had a tougher skin. You know, like you can take a joke, you can be made fun of, and you understood that they were not being actually mean. That was just take it as a joke and not and continue to live your life as normally, because there was nothing meant by it in malice, but it was just a joke just to make you say. Because in my sense, and this is me funny is fucked up shit. Things that are fucked up. Because the whole jokes like back in like older jokes like why did the chicken cross the road? That bullshit. Fuck you with that shit. Go fuck yourself. Go fucking fuck yourself. Kill yourself and then fuck yourself, or pick whatever. And that's also a joke, people. By the way, that is also a joke. Should not be taken seriously.
Too much Joey.
Oh no, I haven't said it like because he says something way worse.
Yeah,
He goes F your mother.
Yeah.
I don't say that. I'm like, I got limits. Like fuck yourself. Practically everybody does already. So make of that what you will.
Did you? I don't know if you did. You watch the John Wick movies?
Nah.
They were actually pretty good.
Oh no, I mean I have seen John Wick movies. I've seen all three.
Okay, they're starting to. Their number 4 is coming out.
Yeah, but they're
just came
making
out
4
with
and
the trailer,
5.
I think.
They're making 4 and 5 together, or they made 4 and 5 together. Actually,
Yeah, they came out with the trailer for number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched it yet. That's coming out.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I haven't seen Matrix Resurrections.
I haven't watched any of the Matrix movies.
No, the first one, watch it definitely. You have to. It definitely
doesn't pull me, man.
Look, watch the one because the problem is that everybody started imitating one. That's the problem. That everybody started.
That is just. I'm a big preview person. If you grab me with the previews, I'm sold. You got me for life.
The one is
the preview.
One.
The one for didn't do anything.
Look, believe me when I tell you, one is. They should have ended at 1. It's so goddamn good that they should have stopped at 1, but they continue with 2, 3. And this fucking abomination that's 4. I haven't seen it, but everybody that has told me they've seen it is like, man, this makes dog shit look like a fucking 18 karat gold. I was like, shit, is that fucking bad?
That bad, huh?
It's like dog shit is superior.
It's just funny, like they can't come up like these fucking people can't come up with like new ideas because they're like trying to make.
The thing is that for example,
understand.
the Matrix films, they were like they combined so many elements of anime in it. So it's like you have your thing with Ghost in the Shell. You seen Ghost in the Shell? Okay, that's one reference to where you can go, but I see that you're not big into anime. I'm not that big on anime either. Like for example, I saw Akira and that fucking blew my brains out when I saw that movie. I was like, holy shit. Did this be pre-CG? Like the animation, if you see the animation, you have to understand this is movie? Akira.
Never even heard of it.
Like, dude, just not so much the story, and the story is fucking awesome, by the way, but just the animation. Like, I appreciate it as an artist, as someone that knows how to draw somewhat. And when I see that fucking animation, the details that they do and how fast the animation goes and the details that they put onto it, I'm like, holy fuck. This is pre-CG because now you can do it in CG and it's quick, fast, easy, done. But doing that type of animation in 1980s in Japan, that is fucked up. and it's so crisp.
Japan kind of was always ahead of our time.
Yeah, but it's so crisp. It's so fluid. It's so natural. It looks so goddamn good. You're like these motherfuckers, like they that is the touching the hem of the garment of perfection. You understand? That's like touching perfection. Like, you know how perfection is unobtainable for us humans, but some people get close to it, like Michael Jordan. Like in terms of basketball, holy shit, who the fuck can get closer than that in terms of perfection? Like the perfect shooting, the perfect penetration, perfect stealing, perfect rebounding. And also with the determination of an asshole that thinks everything is personal. And I don't think he would take offense to saying that.
They told me this. I took it personal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all the fuel to the fire. Fuel to the fire. Anyways, so, yeah, Matrix 1, go see it. Avoid the others. You don't even need to see that shit.
You haven't stirred me wrong yet. I guess.
Avoid the others. Avoid the others. Avoid it like the fucking plague. But it's a continuation of the story. That story fucking sucks. It sucks donkey balls.
If I'm bored one day, maybe I'll throw it out.
Like one, yes, I'll watch one any time of the week because that's a classic. Like I told you, this week I watched RoboCop and I watched A Big Trouble in Little China. All 80s movie. One and two of most fucked up directors. John Carpenter and Paul Verhoeven. Now, Paul Verhoeven, it is a fucked up mentality. And, I mean, RoboCop, Jesus Christ. Have you seen RoboCop? The original one? Not the 20-something. The way they murdered the main character. By the way, the main character is alive only for the first 15 minutes, and then they turn him into RoboCop. The main character. He dies in the first 15 minutes of the movie. But then they have to turn him into a cyborg. So he turns into RoboCop. The way they murder this cop is like, dude, you need Jesus. Whoever wrote that fucking story is like, you need Christ. We have to take you right now to the altar and pray for you, for your fucking soul. We have to pray for your fucking soul. I mean, like, what the fuck? What in the fuck? First thing they do, blow this fucking dude's arms off with a fucking shotgun. They blow his arms off, like blah. Like, and it's not like it's not like oh, let's imply. No, it's shown in all its graphic fucking glory. It is shown in all its fucking. Then they riddled him with bullets, worse than Sonny Corleone in Godfather 1. They riddled this motherfucker in bullets. Like, it's just hail of bullets. Bah, 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 bah. And then the glory shot. Blow his fucking brains out and shown as clear as day. Nice. Boom. Boom. Just like that. And you're like, yeah, he's dead as fuck. yeah, he's dead. He did. He did. But then they resurrect his ass. And by the way, the funny thing is that because I was mentioning the whole thing that he needs Jesus, it wasn't hyperbole. It's because it was literal. Because the director said that was his interpretation of the life of Christ, his death, his resurrection. He even had a scene where RoboCop seemingly walked on water. It's like, yeah, he's Christ. Like, yeah, I don't think Christ came back from the dead just to murder people
and to be a robot
and to be a cyborg. And that movie is bloody as fuck. That's what dude. There's so much goddamn blood in that movie. There's so much goddamn blood. It's like it's an 80s orgy fest of blood. Like that is the most bloodiest movie in the 80s, I think, of all.
Did they come out with more?
Yeah, but then it was more PG than anything else because
because the fucking film people were like, bro,
dude,
not again. You want to make 2? No,
dude,
you make that shit PG.
One of the first things this RoboCop does. Look, one of the first things this RoboCop does. He stops a mugging in a convenience store. Then he gets a report that 2 dudes are gonna rape a bitch. Sorry, woman, a lady. Well, that's not her fault. Yeah, because they were doing it against her will. So it's not that she volunteered. It's like, yes, I will offer my privates for you, strangers.
Here.
I will take my skirt off, and then I will take my undergarments. So she was protesting the whole way. She was, no, no, please, no. So yeah, it was rape. Anyway, RoboCop showed up, and he just go dee 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 dee. You see his visor like going, okay, where I'm gonna shoot? Okay, I know what I'm gonna shoot. Shoots right directly between her legs and gets the dude right in the nards. Shoots him directly in the dick. So that tells you immediately what type of movie it is. Like that director does not give. And then you have to remember he also directed Total Recall. He also did Basic Instincts, and then Starship Troopers, and also one of the dirtiest and also most fucked up movies ever, Showgirls. You remember?
And they just keep letting this fucking guy direct. I mean, those were all really fucked up movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you remember Starship Troopers then?
Which one?
Starship Troopers. Lots and lots and lots of graphic deaths by giant, humongous insects.
I don't think I remember that one. I know Showgirls.
Yeah,
the girl from Saved by the Bell.
And a lot of effing, in that movie.
And that's the only scene I really know about.
The pool scene.
Total Recall. I just
we're talking about the Schwarzenegger one, not the other dude, the remake that they did years later, not that one.
I think I watched the one years later, so I could just imagine how fucked up the first one.
No, the first one was pretty fucked up. It was directed by the same guy that made RoboCop, so yeah, pretty fucked up. Yeah. Pretty fucked up. So Paul Verhoeven. Just look him up. Look up his filmography,
I don't think I want to.
And then seek guiding counsel.
I don't think I keep myself away from him.
Seek a mental health.
I'll take your word. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Unless you have the stomach for it. I mean, if you just understand it's just a movie, it's not real, and you have to understand this dude survived World War II and Nazis, so he's just putting on screen what he lived through in his life.
Well, someone should have stopped.
No. Keep the blood flowing. Yeah. Oh, he also did Hollow Man, the Kevin Bacon one that he's invisible.
I saw that one.
He did that one too. That was Paul Verhoeven as well.
Well, he must have slowed down a lot.
No, I mean he showed Kevin Bacon's dingus. He showed his Kevin Bacon's dingus in the movie.
Yeah, he also showed two pair of titties, but I mean,
yeah, Elizabeth Shue, right?
Elizabeth, no, it wasn't her.
The redhead.
It was the redhead, and then that like model chick in her house.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because Elizabeth Shue doesn't do those type of scenes.
I think she did one or two, if I'm not mistaken, but it wasn't how.
Hey, Marissa Tomei showed her titties, so
that was a wrestler.
Yeah, in The Wrestler, she showed her titties.
Well, I mean, it was eventually. I mean, that woman's so fucking hot still now.
She's almost 60, and she's
smoking.
It's unbelievable. Like there's a group of women that are a certain age that just don't age.
And she doesn't look like she got any.
No.
Like enhancement.
No, it's all natural. It's all natural. Because you can tell when some of these ladies apply artificial enhancements in their face, in their faces. You can tell by a mile, a country mile. Like for example, Madonna. You can tell that's like, that's altered. Yeah, that's altered.
Even the younger crowds. Like I was just watching. I don't know if you watched the show Lucifer that was on Channel Fox. I picked up by Netflix. So
I seen clips on YouTube.
So me and my wife used to watch it when it was on Fox. And when it went over, it got canceled. We were like, oh fuck. I mean, they just like left it open. So once they canceled, they were like, "Oh fuck." Then we realized, okay, Netflix picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
We just never really watched it. So this weekend, on Saturday, we started watching season 4, I think, and then we watched Yeah, so we watched the whole season. It was like 10 episodes in like 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
So the main girl, Lauren, I don't know, it's Graham, Rim, German. I forgot how to pronounce the last name.
Satan's Peace.
Yes,
Chick
the
pick.
cop, the
Yeah,
detective, Chloe.
yeah. Satan's Peace.
Yeah,
His chick, which
yeah.
which like dude has been alive over thousands of years and he's falling for a chick. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, that's
It was
plausible.
supposed to be supposedly God made her to torture him. Well, anyway,
Okay.
she looked good. Like I seen her in other shows. She was on Hawaii Five O, the remake of it.
That where
She, yeah,
James Caan's son
yes,
is in
and
it. He's
the guy and the other
Dano.
African guy's name Alex something. So the show, I love the show. I watched the remake of it. I loved it. I liked it. I like how I don't know how the old one was, but they did a good job on that one. So I watched her on there. She was on there for like a season before she left.
Mm.
Then she was on Chicago Fire. She was like a paramedic. Beautiful girl.
Mhm.
She came in. She did the 3 seasons on this. Then she started season 4, and you can see like she either got Botox on her lips or she did something with her fucking nose. I'm just like,
Kind of
you were perfect. What do you need to do all of that?
kind of like a person that we were waiting to dedicate a little extra time because his face changed a
Oh
lot.
my god, it was terrible the way. But anyway,
So yeah, Vinnie Mac,
yeah,
Mister,
let's just jump right into it.
yeah, Vinnie Mac, Vince
Vinnie Mac,
McMahon,
Mr. PIMP,
the man that declared his privates as community property,
and everyone else's.
Yeah. uh, it seems, due to the nature of his decision, that the heat is going to come so freaking big on his ass that on Friday, this past Friday, from the day we were recording, Vincent Kennedy McMahon decided to retire close to the age of 77, and hell froze over.
And a ton of fucking people are gonna come out now.
Yeah, like
there's already multiple accounts.
Yeah, there was already. I mean, in the Wall Street Journal also said that there was more to come.
Oh,
he was splattering cum like it was a Jackson Pollock painting.
Exactly. And
he was.
Once I saw Triple H go back to his old job.
Yeah,
I was like, something's coming down the pipeline that's going to be hell. Like something's going to happen.
Look, they fired John Laurinaitis already. They already fired him. It's not like they took him out like, indefinitely. We don't know when you're going to come back. But since Vince now it has no longer power, because, by the way, not only did he retire, he also is no longer anything to do with WWE at all. He's even going to sell his stock. Oh. He's even going to sell his stock.
Well, yeah, Stephanie's going to buy that stock. She's going to want
fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
He's not going to sell it to anybody else.
And it's going to stay McMahon.
It's a fucking family thing.
Yeah, but it's a publicly traded company, though.
But it's still his stock. He can sell it to whoever the fuck he wants to.
He's still majority owner to this moment that we're still recording.
Yeah.
He's still majority owner. So technically, it's still his company, technically. He's just that he officially is not the CEO. Officially, he's no longer he's no longer the head of the business side, and he's no longer the head of the creative side in terms of the storylines and whatnot. And this has created a ripple effect in the wrestling community, because now already 2 people have requested their release from AEW, which is right now the biggest competition WWE has in the States. AEW is like the second biggest wrestling company in the United States. And already 2 people have already publicly acknowledged that they want to be released from their contract. Publicly. So this is, and the rumor is that already people, ever since that they knew that Vince is no longer in the company, is like, now there's an interest from people in AEW that they want to jump ship to WWE, because they figured that they will have better chances now that Vince is not there. Because you have to understand, in the wrestling business, you were in WWE, you were only entertaining one person. You weren't entertaining the fans, because Vince McMahon, God knows, he does not give a fuck about the fans. He does not give two fucks about the fans.
He cares about the green in his
Exactly. That the bottom line. He cares about the bottom line. But in terms of creating actual storylines, like for example, when was the last time you saw WWE?
Stone Cold's return.
When he came back now in WrestleMania, and that's pretty much it. Before that,
right probably right before Stone Cold left.
I rest my case. So the thing is that,
and I know The Rock came back there and there.
Yeah,
but it really didn't interest me to watch it. I mean, I love The Rock. I was always, I had trouble. I mean, in the way of who's my favorite.
I
love Stone Cold, I love Michaels, and I love The Rock.
And I love Bret.
I was never a Bret guy.
No,
I just didn't like.
Look, when I was a kid, I was a Hulk Hogan fan because I was
in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, because I grew up in the height of Hulkamania when the thing was, like, as he would say, running wild.
And I pretty much grew up in the era, the Raw era, the Attitude era.
Yeah,
which Stone Cold and Austin and The Rock kind of guided. I mean, more Stone Cold for a couple of years into The Rock came in.
Like the first WrestleMania that I actually watched live was WrestleMania, the one with Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior in this Toronto Skydome. That was the first WrestleMania I watched live. And as a kid, I was a fucking pup, and I actually cried when Hogan lost because I was a Hulk Hogan mark. Now, knowing what I know about the man, and we don't need to go into details, pretty much everything's already in public.
Yeah, a lot of. It's like what my wife said too. When you're rich and famous the way Vince was, Hogan was, there's going to be a lot of skeletons in your closet.
Yeah, because you're fucked up. Because you're disconnected from reality and humanity. You're an island to yourself, and you think that what your actions have no repercussions. And if they do have a repercussion, you just buy the motherfucker out.
And I don't know if a lot of people know that. I mean, I don't know, the 5 that are listening know that these guys were on the road 360 days out of the year. You saw Raw, you saw SmackDown, you saw Sunday Night Heat. That's all you saw was on TV. There was a bunch of fucking things they did during the week that was never televised.
Yeah, house shows.
Shows.
Because they did house shows like 4 or 5 days a week. Even
on, traveling to different countries.
Yeah.
And traveling back to do the fucking Monday Night Raw.
Like when CM Punk left the wrestling business a few years ago. You don't know who the fuck he is, I guess.
I know who CM Punk. I know the main.
But you didn't.
But I don't know their.
You didn't follow the product when he was champion in WWE.
No.
The thing is that he was burned out. Basically, that's the gist of it. He was burned out. He was like, because he even wanted to do one of the shitty WWE movies, and he said, I didn't give a shit about the fucking movie. It's just no house shows. I was just trying to get out of the house shows. I was burned out. I was burned out. That's it. I just needed something to do, an excuse not to do the house shows, because I was goddamn fucking tired wrestling 365 days a year. I was just burned out. Like, my whole life was just motels, hotels, rent-a-cars, airplanes, going to the gym, finding somewhere to eat somewhat decent food, then wrestle, and sometimes wrestle hurt, and nobody gave a fuck. And he was just burned out, he was just burned out. And the way he felt, and I'll say that because, everyone has their own version of what reality was. Now, I'm not saying he was lying or that WWE was lying. I don't care what the fuck was lying. It's just saying what he said. And he said that he felt like WWE just was abusing him in terms of like not allowing him to rest up and getting himself back into shape. and just
He
abuse
was
him and just
he was the
asking
main
him.
star.
Yeah, you're the champ,
He,
so you have to take it in the chest, and take it in the chin, and just walk it off.
you probably didn't have what the '90s did was 4, 5, 6 people that if Austin was gone after anything,
No,
you still had The Rock, you still
and
had DX, you still had people to continue the
yeah,
show
and that's the
to carry
problem
some of the load.
on that time in WWE, that it was basically just Cena, and I
Yeah,
mean,
and he
but
was,
and
I mean,
you can
I'm burnt out with heat
alternate.
already.
And you can alternate between also Randy Orton or Batista, but I think Batista already had a foot out of the door, and Randy
Batista,
Orton, eh,
Batista, he's done. He was never like you said, he had a foot out the door. He started young. He started in right when the Attitude Era was ending, kind of thing. That's where he
no, he
started.
started in the ruthless aggression era. That's what they
Yeah.
call that part.
So I mean, he didn't really. I mean, he almost left the his character in the Guardians of the Galaxy because of something, and
Hmm.
they worked around with him. They worked with him to
Hmm.
keep him, but
But yeah,
you just didn't have people to carry the show. And I mean, and I understand it. But
that's the
Vince, like you
problem.
said, Vince wanted to keep the green in his pocket, and he's gonna run you out there 360 days of the week. Look at what Undertaker. I watched this thing on Peacock, his show, Last
Uh huh.
Ride.
Uh huh.
Fucking dude's done. He
And
just wanted to keep coming back, and I'm like, dude, why?
yeah, because and he feels like he has something to prove, and I'm like,
What do you got? You're the
you
dead.
destroyed your body for like almost 40 years, and you think you have something to prove?
You're the fucking Undertaker, the dead man, the American badass.
He
You
ain't got
beat
nothing
in
to prove.
everything. You had nothing to prove.
He did it all, and fucking one of the few guys that always stayed loyal to that company, because they're
It's,
like you could say
WCW
you
called him, and
you
he
could
said, "Go fuck yourself."
yeah, and you could say, for example, look, I mean, Triple H, ever since he came to WWE, because he also was a guy that came from WCW. When he went to WWE, he never left. Shawn never left. Uh,
Stone Cold never left. The Rock never left.
no, The Rock is an actual homegrown talent, like an
Yeah,
actual grown
but his
talent from
dad.
WWE.
That talk about fucking generations
No,
of
but
fucking wrestling.
what I mean that he never wrestled for any other company other than WWE. He never like
Yeah,
it.
you're right.
He
Yeah,
never.
he started at Rocky Maivia.
And if you Google Flex Cabana, don't
Google him, but don't.
Flex Cabana. That was his first gimmick, by the way. That was his first wrestling gimmick. Flex
Was
Cabana.
Rocky Maivia?
No, no. This is way before Rocky Maivia. This is Flex Cabana.
I don't want to. I just want to remember him from Rocky Maivia because even that character was a little.
Because that's how he started out, as Flex Cabana. Then when he went to because when he was in development, he created that character Flex Cabana. And then when they went to made his debut in WWE, they decided to call him Rocky Maivia because Rocky for his dad, Rocky Johnson, and Maivia for his grandfather from his mother's side, High Chief Pete Maivia. So they can just combine the two names and
that's where he got his name.
yeah, the Rocky Maivia. But then people liked so much the goddamn character, they came up with signs saying "Die Rocky Die." It was that extreme, that the hatred they had, because he was a cookie cutter baby face, like the most generic baby face in the history of baby faces. Like the people, it was such a boring fucking character. I mean, he was good.
It was.
But he was good.
He was good. He had the talent.
But it's just that wasn't him. And then when he turned bad guy, heel, holy fuck. He gave it a 180 and he was like, oh, let me be me. Let me be me. Let me give my characteristics here out. And when he started talking in the third person, The Rock, he started calling himself The Rock.
You can literally, there will be, you can watch skits of The Rock on YouTube
Oh my
for
god, you'll die laughing.
hours and just die laughing. It reminds me almost like fucking Joey D. How you can just you find playlist of
Some of the
Joey Diaz the funniest parts part 50,000. It's like you could just keep
and
going
some
and
of the
going
shit
and
that
going.
hasn't aged well. Some of the things that The Rock said hasn't aged well, especially
No,
when he was making fun of Eddie Guerrero.
well, I mean,
So you can ride down to the sunset and say, "Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I remember he came back and he had a guitar in his hand and he was singing.
yeah, yeah."
And Vicky came out and he just went off on it. I don't remember exactly
Yeah,
what it was, but it's like when he made his like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
appearances there and there
But
doing.
biatch,
Yeah.
they call her biatch.
But
You look horrible
Yeah.
tonight.
but yeah. Anyway, going back to Vincent.
Vinny.
I was reading something. It was just like one of the girls that
Oh
I
Lord.
think between like time. Remember you said that she got paid off not to say anything. And there was another girl. I think her name was Ashley. It was like
that girl actually committed suicide.
yeah, the girl that committed suicide. He fucked with her so bad. It's like, and
Yeah.
people knew about it. And Vincent was like always trying to get her alone. Oh, ride in my jet to the next, to the next place that we had to go to. Oh, come with me to dinner. And all this,
and she
all
already
this
had
terrible
mental
shit.
health issues, and she already
had issues,
that's fucked
and he didn't help.
That was so fucked up. That is
He didn't
so
fucking
fucked
help.
up.
All he wanted to do is get his little penis
Get his little penis wet.
Wet, whatever the fuck he wanted to do.
He wanted the sukalamink.
Sukalamink. And you know what? I hope not something terrible, but I hope he
learns the error of his ways.
Well, it's too late.
Yeah,
for him, it's too late. He did his fucking damage. How many people, like this girl committed suicide? How, I'm not saying he, had a hand in it.
Yeah, but it didn't help either.
But it didn't help her. You saw she had mental problems. You saw that she was struggling. You saw that you were made her uncomfortable. You saw it in her eyes. And what did you do? You just kept fucking being ruthless. And to that, I hope he's out on the side of the fucking highway picking up garbage for the rest of his fucking life.
That's hardly gonna happen, but
it won't happen. It won't happen because they're gonna fucking bury most of it.
Yeah, and because his name he paid off.
He does for the state of fucking Connecticut with his buildings, the income that he does, it's fucking bullshit.
And he wanted to sell the building, the Titan headquarters, Titan Towers.
He wanted to sell it and just move it.
Yeah,
and he moved it right down the street. This Triple H. They had pictures all over Instagram of them building. I saw the new building. It's literally right across the street, almost, if not like 5 minutes, 10 minutes away, and it has already WWE logo on top of it. And the old building is still there.
Yeah, because they haven't moved yet.
They haven't moved yet because they're still building the other part to make it the way they want it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There's nothing's gonna happen to him. But reading that story about that poor woman and how he just knew, and then I don't know what it was, but one of the managers was like, you're gonna have to just do it.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why did she just have to do it?
Because Vince is an asshole.
Like you said, a bunch of girls, even the Bella twins, are willing to come back.
Yeah, everybody wants to because the only two guys that are left in the company that were of that old regime, of that old mentality, because Triple H obviously was not that type of mentality. On the contrary, if you hear all the stories of everybody that was in NXT when Triple H was running it, they will kiss his feet. He treated them like gold. They all love Triple H. Every person.
He's back to his old position. Everyone
exactly.
Like said, they're gonna want to fucking.
Everybody wants to come back now.
People the way you wanted to be treated.
because
as much as I don't like Triple H's character, and I never did.
Yeah, but as a human being,
he
seems to be a decent one.
How to run how to run his job, how to do his job correctly,
and be a decent human being toward your fellow man.
That's what you have to do. Treat people the way you want to be treated, and it'll come.
And also, him being a wrestler, or formerly being a wrestler because he's retired now. But him
can't do it anymore.
Being a wrestler and knowing what the life is, as he lived it himself, he can comprehend their position better. He can understand them better, know what it takes. And he was on top. Like they even called it from 2003 till 2006. They called that period the Reign of Terror, because he had a grip on Raw. Because you have to remember, those days John Cena was on SmackDown, so he wasn't.
Yeah, but it was left.
But exactly, there was no that by that time Shawn came back. Shawn came back, but Shawn didn't want to take the main event always. He just wanted to be like he was there more to elevate other people, because Shawn took that championship begrudgingly. Well, yeah. He didn't want to be champion. He said, "No, we got to help the new guys that are coming out." So that's why now Shawn is the head trainer.
He's still training.
Shawn is the main head trainer in NXT. He's the head trainer in NXT.
That's one dude. When he won the title, I remember him coming down from the fucking ceiling.
Yeah, when he beat Bret Hart with the Iron Man match. The thing with Bret is that he took things way too personal. It's like
until this day,
he still does. He holds grudges.
Still does. What was I watching? It was
he hates Goldberg because Goldberg was the one who concussed his ass out of wrestling.
That was
he still holds a grudge.
I was listening to a not a podcast. I think he was doing
Q&A. I think it was. Probably a Q&A.
He had a radio thing with 98.7 ESPN. And one of the guys there, Peter Rosenberg, you probably know him because he does some of the side shows. He's on that show.
Uh-huh.
He does. And they had Goldberg because his thing was coming out on the television show was coming out. And they had him on there. And Peter Rosenberg asked him the question, he goes, "What's going on with Bret Hart?" He goes, "Listen, I reached out to him so many times. It comes to a point that now I'm pissed off. Because if I'm trying to reach out to you to say, I'm sorry, it wasn't intentional and all this other bullshit." He reached out to him. He never got back to him. His camp never got back to him. So he goes, "You know what? I know my intentions. I didn't mean it. I fucked up. I tried to reach out to you. You don't want to obviously talk to me back. So it is what it is. You want to be pissed off? Go ahead.
You want to stay pissed off forever? Stay pissed off forever.
Go ahead." So, but yeah, I remember when Michaels won the championship. I think it was like, not that one time. I think when he won it again, but he had to leave because he needed some kind of back surgery. That was like right before like Stone Cold came out. It might have been like
the one he left. 96. When he left, he dropped the belt to Stone Cold. When he left,
maybe it was right. So yeah, so it must have been right around then. I thought Stone Cold wasn't there. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of another time.
No, because they were mixing up. He won it. He won it back in '97 in Royal Rumble against Sid Vicious. Psycho Sid. He beat Psycho Sid for it. Then he a couple of weeks later he relinquished the belt because he had to find his smile, quote unquote. He had to find a smile.
Well,
it's because the thing is that Bret, that's the inside, and both sides will actually acknowledge that this was fact, that Bret put Shawn over on the previous WrestleMania, and then on this next WrestleMania, which was going to be '97, the original plan was that Bret would get his win back from Shawn, because both of them are very equally, like technically speaking, in terms of technical wrestling. Yes, Shawn Michaels is more a high flyer than Bret, but both of them know how to deliver a perfect match. And I always love when those two work together because both of them made it look real. That's the best compliment you can give to a wrestler because we all wrestling fans are in the know. We all know this is predetermined result that was discussed way before they went into the ring, and they both know what's going to happen at the end. But still, they have to keep the illusion going. So it's a performance, it's an acting, but they have to act with their entire bodies, and they have to trust each other with this acting. Some wrestlers are very good at it, some are not. Some suck at it. But they have enough that they can bullshit you into like, okay, somewhat decent match. But these two motherfuckers, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, they made you fucking believe that every fucking blow they take or gave was real. Because those two were top of the top. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. To me, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, I saw them when they started in the 80s, when most people from this generation now don't have even a fucking clue what I'm talking about.
And they don't.
Like Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart were the Hart Foundation. That was a tag team. They won multiple times the tag team championship. And the Rockers with Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. I remember that.
Oh, I remember him putting him through the glass.
Yeah, that's where the sexy boy persona started. That's what started his heel persona. That's what kickstarted his career as a singles wrestler. And it's not his fucking fault that, unfortunately, of the two, who was the better wrestler? Who was the better wrestler?
You know his song. It's not a girl that's singing sexy.
It's him.
That guy.
No, it's him. He sings. The original version, it was sung by Sherry Martel, which was Macho Man's manager. The original version.
The guy with the small guy, the glasses, right?
Uh-huh. The original version.
The original version was him.
The original version. But then Shawn sang his own song. The version that everybody knows, Sexy Boy, the version that everybody knows, that's Shawn singing it. That's actually Shawn singing it. The one that everybody knows now.
But the original,
it was Sherry Martel.
I watched so much fucking clips, I forget. They all mash up into one. But
no, but in terms of wrestling songs, my favorite, because of the prank, is John Cena's. Because of you heard the radio prank that they pulled on the poor woman. No. Because a guy called the radio station saying, "Oh, my wife doesn't allow me to watch wrestling anymore." And she even forbade the kids to watch wrestling. So, okay, so we'll fuck her up then. So they just kept calling her. It's like, ma'am, like, oh, congratulations, you just won 2 tickets to WrestleMania, and you're going to see John Cena. They just put the music and blasted the music. No wrestling. And then they called the woman like, ma'am, have you heard of our Lord and Savior? What Lord and Savior? And his name is Johnson.
Oh my God.
And they just keep calling. They just put this. They tortured her for like 10 minutes straight. Just calling her every time she hung up. She was like, I swear to Christ, if you keep calling me, I will send the police at you. Like, and his name is Johnson.
One of my favorite moments is when Kurt Angle comes out.
You
suck.
Uh-huh.
You suck. I was like, this poor fucking guy.
Yeah, he loves it.
Oh, of course.
He loves it. He loves the silly shit. But then again, did you know that him and Brock Lesnar actually did an actual real shoot fight that only the wrestler saw? Like
wrestling match?
Yeah, an actual amateur wrestling match. Because you know that Kurt Angle was in an Olympic gold.
Yeah.
And Brock also has his, I think he was a 3-time NCAA.
He did in college for a long time.
Yeah. So they were always considered the 2 best amateur wrestlers in the longest time. So they were like, okay, so Brock was talking shit. Like, I could destroy you. I'm like, oh, for real? Okay, so there's the ring. Let's go. Let's go. And Kurt is actually very very humble when he talks about his prowess as a amateur wrestler. And he said, and they asked him, okay, so who won? I was like, well, took me 15 minutes, but pinned them twice. Pinned them twice.
He was his ground attacks were nice. He was good.
No, and I mean everybody has said that Kurt Angle is the guy that acclimated to professional wrestling the quickest from anybody that's come from that type of world.
Yeah, I mean it was easier for him. Just think about most of his attacks where he just needed to make them bigger.
Mm-hmm. Just oversell it, like make it more exaggerated, so that way people that are watching from the stands, like 5,000, see number 5,023 can see it.
Yeah, I mean going back to amazing. I mean watching that was Michaels and Razor Ramon match.
The ladder match.
That ladder match. Oh my god, what a fucking match! I rewatched that like after Razor Ramon died in Scott Hall.
Yeah.
Just because I was younger when I watched it, like really young.
And you didn't appreciate it for what it was.
Didn't appreciate it back then. But watching it now.
Like, who Shawn Michaels says taught him a lot about selling? You know what selling is? That it's like showing the emotions that you're hurt. Mm-hmm. To elicit a reaction from the crowd, making them like feel your pain. And you know that Shawn Michaels is one of the best sellers in the wrestling business. And he said that he learned from Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express and from NWA. And Ricky Morton, let me fucking tell you, he invented that shit. He fucking invented that shit. Like in his matches, he would go in the ground. He would put this puppy face like he just got murdered, like he just got a bullet through his head. And he will look at the crowd crying, help me, help me. He would look at the crowd like that. And he just had him eating out of the palm of his hand. He had the crowd, like when he hit the hot tag to Robert Gibson, his tag team partner, the place just blew up. Like in the NWA, the two matches that sold the most were Rock and Roll Express matches and Ric Flair matches. That's it.
Like Mr. Wu himself.
Yeah, I mean, Ric Flair was Mr. NWA. And by the way, we already know who is going to be. And thank God they changed the format of how the match is going to go. It's not going to be a one-on-one match for his last match. It's going to be a tag team match, which is more understandable than unbearable than watching a 76-year-old man try to wrestle. No, he's 73. Sorry.
Wasn't it against his new son-in-law?
No. No, his son-in-law is going to be his tag team partner, Andrade.
Oh, I thought he was going to wrestle.
No. We got to keep kayfabe.
So is it against?
It's going to be Jeff Jarrett and
retiring last match too, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Didn't he say that was his last match too?
I don't know about that.
I think I thought that's where I thought that he was facing. I mean, I didn't read it a lot much into it, but I thought that was. I think they said that was his last match. I mean, that dude is he's getting up there too.
Yeah, he's in his 50s, I think. He must be in his late 50s. Anyway, so it's going to be Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, the guy that was helping Flair train. So they actually incorporated that into the storyline. I think that was a good detail. They incorporated that into the storyline because Jay Lethal had asked them, that, can I be part of the match? And Ric Flair was like, nope. So I guess they had that prepared since they won. Mm-hmm. And he did end up being part of the match, his last match. So it all worked out in the end. So it's going to be this Sunday. It's going to be closer to when the time this podcast comes out. So it's going to be the 31st, Sunday the 31st. It's going to be on pay-per-view. And if you want to watch a 73-year-old man try to wrestle in tiny
Okay.
trunks and tag teaming with his son-in-law against another geriatric and a
Okay.
wrestle and a wrestler that's more in shape, being Jay Lethal, then you can watch that. Also, you can watch on Saturday SummerSlam, which will be from I think it's gonna be from Vegas. I don't know. I don't know.
I haven't really looked into it,
So
but
and it's gonna be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the 18th billionth time.
I don't think Lester's gonna be part of that match.
Yes, he is. He came back.
He came back after Vince retired because
Yeah,
he supposedly
he
walked the
left,
fuck
but
out.
he showed up on Friday. He showed up at the last segment on Friday night. He beat the shit out of this new kid called Theory. Beat the shit out of him, and he came back. So the match is still go. Thank God, because it was the replacement was going to be Goldberg, and Jesus Christ. Uh, nothing against Goldberg. It's just that he doesn't move the same way as he did back in the '90s. So don't
Yeah,
expect don't
he's
expect explosive Goldberg. Expect a geriatric old
I
man
I was
that
watching
can
him on
barely lift up a person anymore.
I was watching him on NCIS LA. He just looks stiff.
Look, dude, he almost killed the Undertaker. You saw that in the last ride.
Yeah.
He almost killed the Undertaker, and one of them blood money matches that they did in Saudi Arabia.
I hope Taker just realizes he doesn't need to step in the ring again.
I hope so too, but money talks. Anyway, and money talks to people.
I mean, I don't know. I guess just watching your whole childhood just try to wrestle again while you're in your 30s and they're in their almost late 50s, early 60s. It's
Yeah,
like,
Taker is up there. I mean, Sting is still wrestling, and he's like 63.
no, he needs to stop.
Dude, he can still go. He can still like you think about Ric Flair, like, oh my God, he's been retired 10 years. So, and also body condition, also had a stroke, also has a pacemaker in his heart. So you're like, all these factors, yeah, don't do it. Sting, on the other hand, still jumping from
I think the only one that should be wrestling because he could, because he stays in shape,
he is in shape.
would be The Rock.
Sting is in shape. He's in amazing shape for a guy in his 60s. He's
Yeah, but
in
you can get hurt 10 times faster than these fucking
yes.
young.
But they have known how to use him in AEW. They don't make him wrestle like every day. He wrestles like every 3 months, you know. So they're
So he's doing
saving
like a
him.
Taker thing.
So they're saving him because they also put him in tag team matches. They don't make him wrestle in singles matches. So doing it on tag team matches, that actually, covers up your limitations in terms of
He's already
age.
fighting half the match instead of the whole match.
Exactly. So they just make him do his famous spots, and that's it. The Stinger Splash, the Scorpion Deathlock, and the Scorpion Death Drop. That's it. But he still can go, and he's jumping from the third rope outside the ring. He's jumping from the stage. Like, every time I see it, I was like, is this necessary? This
Exactly.
This is not necessary.
What,
Sting, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this.
Sting have to prove?
He doesn't have to do that, but if he feels like he can still go somewhat, and they cover up, and as they've been doing it, covering him up well, not overexposing him, and just making him wrestle like 3-4 months, every 3 or 4 months, that's okay. And he signs off on it. It's not like he's senile. It's not like he's stupid. He's still in his olfactions. He still has all his faculties in his mind. It's not that he's senile. So if he thinks that he can go, and also they test him and they have doctors there to make sure that he can go. So if he's medically cleared, mentally cleared, and if he can still do what he can do, then I say more power to you. And also he's getting some sweet, sweet money on the side. But then again, I'm like, all your kids are adults now. They probably already have their own families. Like, how much in
Don't
debt?
you want to be
How
able
much?
to?
How much in debt are you?
You must be in a lot of debt because to me, don't you want to be with your grandkids?
I don't know, dude. And some people just want to, be extreme. And also, he's white, so white people have this. I don't know what is it about white people. Look, listen to me. White people are the only ones that jumps out of planes as a sport for fun. Like me jumping off a plane, that's last case scenario. That is ultimate case scenario. It's like
I don't even like planes.
I'll travel on a plane. I just don't want to jump off of one.
I can't. That whole airport scenario, that shit just boggles me. And I'm
Also, bungee
just
jumping.
like, fuck it.
Bungee jumping. White people.
No.
White people.
Half of me don't even want to do that, and the other half probably wouldn't want to do that either. I don't even want to get on a plane.
But look at all those extreme activities that involves for sure death. It's like 99% of it involves death. Like you touching the skin of death and just like slapping death in the face like, what you gonna do, pussy? What the fuck you gonna do? Come on. Do something, you bitch. Like when normal people would see a scenario like that, you're like, I'll leave death the fuck alone.
Yeah.
I'll leave death the fuck alone.
Like all these stupid ass people hiking.
Like, do you know that?
Didn't you hear that there's mountain lions? There's a bunch of animals that can come and fuck you up real quick.
Like, what about the dude that James Franco did in this movie that got his arm stuck in climbing mountains in Utah? He had to cut off his own fucking arm.
I'm good.
Like, yeah, that happened, and also he left without saying anything to anybody. He didn't tell anybody he was gonna go hiking. He didn't say anything. He just went and did it because I'm a crazy white fuck.
Nah, I'm good.
So yeah, you call me fat and recluse and whatnot. Yeah, but I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. I have
fat ass here. If I can't drive to you, I don't need to see you.
I'm still breathing.
Google Maps.
I'm still breathing. Like I don't need to tempt God to see him. Like they want to force that meeting with God. They want to force it. They want to enforce it.
Yeah, I don't want to wait until I'm like 90 or 100. Let's just meet now.
Motherfucker, go to Colombia and take ayahuasca.
It's like anyway, back to wrestling.
No, back to the ending because we're going now deep into these murky waters.
Hour and a half? Yeah. We can end it here, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, I must say, before we end, Austin and Rock put on some amazing fucking matches. And I know you like your Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, and that's the era you grew up in.
No. Look, first and foremost, I like technical wrestlers. Because it takes a lot of focus, you have to be very athletic and physical to perform those technical feats. But I also love look, Austin. Before he got his knees fucked up and his neck fucked up, he was an awesome technical wrestler. Let me tell you, Austin was an awesome technical wrestler, but he had to change his style due to his neck getting fucked up, and then he turned into a brawler. So he became a brawler, so he's just using fists and everything. But the thing is that when you have that technical training and it never goes away. And his ability with a lot with a little capitalized him into the level that he became. So like for example, in AEW, the closest guy that comes to Steve Austin-esque stuff is Jon Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose. From the Shield. So in AEW they got their version of Austin, which is Jon Moxley. And so he is kind of like an Austin, like their version of Austin. And then he's more free to speak his mind because he can get to cuss in AEW. In AEW they let you cuss a lot. They say shit all the time. All the time they say shit.
I think shit is like more of a word you can say on TV now.
Yeah, but he also says fuck.
Yeah, it's
But
not reality.
yeah, no, but they censor it. But they
Yeah,
don't. They don't. They don't blur his mouth when he says it though.
yeah.
They don't blur it.
But we can leave it on that because I'm an Austin fan, like I told you.
Yeah, me too.
Out of those three, Michaels, Rock, and Austin, I couldn't pick because to me, all three of them have their
Dude,
best. They can fucking
m-
deliver a match.
dude, I was the biggest Austin fan when the Attitude Era kicked off because he just grabbed your
Was
attention.
he was the Attitude Era?
Yes, I mean if it wasn't for his feud with McMahon, that's another thing we need to talk about, Vinny. Like what he decided, like
Oh, what he did with this fucking company.
yeah, look, and he had the wisdom because some people say because how things turned out in the end when the whole Montreal screw job, some people think that the Montreal screw job was actually a work that all the parties were in it, but no,
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 no. Bret
no,
Hart would have never went with that.
exactly. So what happened was that Vince took advantage of how he looked in the court of public opinion. Everybody knew he was a bad guy because he fucked Brett over by not telling him what was going to be the ending. And so since
Oh
already
no,
in the
he told Brett the ending,
no, he
but he
told
also told Michaels a different.
exactly. So they you won't look context and you can context it as whatever way you want it. At the end of the day, he got fucked. He got fucked.
Royally.
He got fucked. At the end of the day, he got fucked. So, Vince took advantage of this new persona, as people saw him, because he outed himself as the boss. Because before that, he was just an announcer. And the public eye, people like very few people in the know knew that Vince McMahon was the actual owner of the WWF. You
Yeah,
just saw you just saw him as the fucking announcer guy that's on TV.
It wasn't Gorilla Monsoon. He used to
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, Vince McMahon was always, in one way or another, he showed up in the shows, but you didn't knew that he was the owner because it was back in the '80s. They had this dude Jack Tunney. He was the president of WWE. Then the commissioner, Gorilla Monsoon, he was the commissioner, and he looked as the head figure, but it was actually Vince. So Vince came out, taking advantage of that situation with Brett as the owner of WWF back then. And then he put in motion, like this whole thing just put in motion of him as the idea of him being the boss and being an asshole boss. And who doesn't hate their bosses? And unless you're in a job that you love, you know. Yeah, we plead the fifth. Plead the fifth. Plead the fifth. Anyway, so and everything turned out well in terms of how that all thing got orchestrated. And to be honest, WWE is what it is today thanks to that era, thanks to that Stone Cold era, thanks to the Rock era. They wouldn't be who they are today without that, because that is the thing that catapult. That's the thing that, like, a couple of years afterwards, they're a publicly traded company. A couple of years after that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. You just didn't, and no one was able to grab the company the way those guys did.
No, because they neutered themselves. They shot themselves on the foot because they wanted to be PG and like appeal to younger crowds. And also the world was changing. The world was being more PC, like it is now.
Supposedly, it's going back to
at TV 14, back to TV 14. But I really
how much
don't
is
know.
that going to change?
Well, they'll just say shit now on TV and call people bitch. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't think that they're going to go back to
how much did that diva movement do a lot for the company too? I mean, you can't do that now.
Exactly. They can't go back to the bra and panties matches.
Or the mud. What was it?
The mud wrestling. Mud wrestling. And the brassiers were flying and they were all exposed, nipples covered in mud. but you were trying to pretend that you were not watching nipples, but everybody was watching nipples, or as the king would say, puppies.
Puppies.
Puppies. Anyway,
He
so
actually was married to Kat.
yeah, I know, and then divorced her real quick when
real quick.
when he found out she was a gold digger. Like, wow, what gave you the clue? She married an old man. A hot, young, attractive woman would marry an old man. What would give you the clue that she was a gold digger? Oh, I don't know.
Wasn't Scotty Too Hottie was his son?
Yeah, yeah, that ended up not so well. Dude ended up hanging himself.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just had to throw the Rock and Austin there because to me those matches to me were legit.
Look, I know we have shit on him a lot, on Vince, and deservedly so, because apparently he's not a good human being. But wrestling wouldn't exist today as it is without him. So you take the good and the bad, and I'm not justifying the bad. Believe me, I'm not. But we have to thank him for having wrestling, because wrestling wouldn't exist if it wasn't for him. He will go down in history as the greatest wrestling promoter in all time, of all time. He will go down in history.
With asterisk next to his name.
No, I mean the personal shit,
dude. This is gonna get ugly, and it's gonna get ugly quick. Look, I don't see it going away as firmly.
No. Look, what I'm saying is, okay, he's gonna get Chris Benoit. You understand that reference?
Mm-hmm.
Like Benoit, one of the greatest technical wrestlers ever, but fucking killed his wife and kid.
And killed himself.
And then killed himself. So, yeah, one thing does not cover the other. You know, you can try to separate both because there are two different things, but the horrible thing can't. The horrible thing that he did, you was like, well, yeah, he just did one thing. Yeah, but killing your wife, daughter, and yourself, yeah, that kind of fucks you up for the rest of your life. That whatever good you did in life,
puts a bad taste.
Whatever good you did in life, whatever nice things you did, automatically get canceled with, I killed my wife, I killed my kid, and I killed myself.
If WWE was smart, they would get all these old wrestlers tested for CTE. Those are the correct letters?
Yeah, CTE.
That's probably Benoit's first, one of his issues.
Yeah.
A lot of mental issues.
Among other things.
Probably on steroids. He was probably on all these different medications.
Not probably, was. Drugs. Probably not, was on steroids.
Okay, he was. And the blows to his fucking head, because he had a move that he came off the fucking turnbuckle and it hit you with his head.
Yes.
How many times did he miss that?
Yes. And so yeah, that fucked him up. And Vince, his personal life, it's like, look, it was sentenced to death by his dick. He was sentenced to death by his dick. So he had to quit his job, quit the empire he created over his dick not ever being satisfied.
Okay, but the only way I think it's gonna soften the blow.
Well, he already sacrificed himself. He already sacrificed himself.
He did. The way what's gonna hurt is that all these old people are gonna want to come back to WWE, and the question is, why are you coming back now?
Because the madman is gone.
Fucking gone.
Because the madman is gone.
He's not. He just doesn't own the company anymore. And if I was Stephanie and I was Triple H, why not bring that talent back?
You have to understand. No, but most of the decisions of dropping the people that they dropped since 2020 till now was done by Nick Khan, who is now the co-CEO of WWE. And that guy's name nobody knew who the fuck he was till 5 years ago. Nobody had a
I
fucking
just think
clue.
I just think Stephanie's gonna strong arm him somehow.
I don't
It's
know.
just it's just
Lately, the
well,
memes were like, you remember like when you were playing Mortal Kombat, and every time you won, you just went up on the tower scale.
mhm,
So the memes were like that Nick Khan just murdering people and just going up the scale.
going up the scale, huh? Something has to happen because you'll. I mean, okay, all these people are gonna come back. They're gonna say why. Obviously, Vince is not there. Okay, cool. Let's start. But the only way to lessen this blow is if WWE becomes a fraction of what it was during the Attitude Era.
Mm.
And
Look,
I don't
they have a great
see that
roster.
happening.
They have a great roster. It's just that they don't know how to manage it. That's the problem. Or,
Well,
that they didn't know how to. Look, the problem was like I said before, they're entertaining. It's an audience of one person, and that one person was Vince McMahon, and he would change his mind on a second, on a fly. He would change his mind, like, yeah, oh yeah, you're a great wrestler. Then you would do one little thing that maybe wasn't even in the ring. It was just something outside. Then he would automatically see something different in you. Like, look, for example, there were guys that had gotten the belt that you were like, thank you, Jesus, thank you, God, that they got the belt. Like, for example, Big E from the New Day. He got the
okay.
championship. Everybody was so fucking happy for him. And then 2 months later, stripped. They took it away from him. Brock Lesnar came back, and we had to get Brock Lesnar back some candy, and he was the sacrificial lamb.
Fucking Lesnar was sucking on Vince's dick, probably.
Anyway, let's end it there because we've been riffing for a while now. Let's end it there. So yeah, we will end it with Brock
We're gonna
Lesnar.
have to continue this.
Yeah. We will end it on Brock Lesnar sucking dick.
Not any old dick. Vince McMahon's dick.
Yeah, a dick which is now community property.
Well, it seems listen, everyone take a ride. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean that dick must be the wettest dick in the history of dicks.
I just hope he begs Linda for forgiveness because
Linda knew.
I
Linda
don't
knew.
I doubt they have a prenup.
Fucking.
And if she
Oh
owns it,
shit! He's gonna get Jeff Bezos. He's gonna get Jeff Bezos.
exactly.
He's gonna get Jeff Bezos.
Exactly. And the
Holy
woman already came
fuck.
from money. So they most
fuck.
likely had a prenup because she came from money. I think her parents were rich when they met. And Vince came from nothing. So I just hope
his ass is gonna get Jeff Bezos.
they have some kind of prenup.
She will squeeze every cent.
The guy's worth billions.
And she will squeeze every
She's gonna
fucking
get
cent.
half of that. If not, at least half. I see.
And dude, any normal person would be happy with that.
Any normal person, yeah. Well, that's a lot of fucking half. I mean, the dude's worth probably $2-3 billion easily.
Yeah.
So you're looking at getting 1.5. Let's say if he's worth 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
And she's already came for money.
Hey.
She
I think she's just too good for him. She's too good for him.
Even the skits that she did with WWE were good.
And she wasn't
that
good.
We'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
Vinny, I know you're not listening, but
couldn't give two shits about it.
Couldn't give two shits about us, but I hope you everything that you get you deserve right now. And that
I have mixed emotions. I have mixed emotions about it. I mean, I'm not celebrating what he did. I'm not saying it was right.
I'm not either. But whatever you get out of this, whatever happens to you,
every action has a reaction, and you reap what you sow.
You deserve everything.
You reap what you sow, and he has reaped a lot.
He reaped a lot.
He reaped a lot.
He gave us the best entertainment of our childhoods.
But you also couldn't keep your dick in your pants.
You fucked up a lot of lives.
And you couldn't keep your dick in your pants.
All you had to do was that. Be the one person, the person that had tons of money that didn't need to do all that. And you know what? Everyone was probably like, "Yo, you know what? Vince McMahon's, and we never hear anything in the fucking news about him." And now everything is coming to light. How it came to light,
and you know what? He you can say all the things you want about him. He doesn't give a fuck. He even himself said it in the Pat McAfee show before WrestleMania. He said it himself. It's like, if you think I'm an asshole, congratulations, I am.
so on that note, Vince, you deserve everything you're about to get.
So, and on that note, this has been the Husky Barbu podcast. Remember the T Public website. We will
We got
post
some new logos up.
Yeah, new logos, new T-shirts selling, and thank you for all that have bought it so far. Also, new other logos new other designs as well have been added to the site. So please go
check that out.
check that out. There's one. They don't have names, but they're called. One is called Free Your Mind, which is a brain being exploded out of a cannon, covered in blood, with a gleeful look in his face, and also called Death to Death, Death by Death, which is you see that.
See those then.
Yeah,
I like Death to Death one. It was pretty cool.
So you can purchase those. T Public every once in a while they have a special, which they put at things like a 35% discount. So
I'm even purchasing. The guy that's on the damn show is purchasing the shirts.
So help out. Also remember our website huskybarbupod.com and our social medias, our personal social medias. That Ariel Duran and yours is
Johnny Boy 426.
And the podcast social media, which is at Husky Barbu Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Do not go to Facebook. Anyway, this has been.
We won't accept you.
No, we won't.
Even our family members are still in the holdings.
Yeah, someone was brave enough to send me a friend request. I was like, "You poor soul.
You're just gonna sit on the list like everybody else.
You poor soul. Like you're gonna die. You're gonna die waiting for that reply. You're gonna be our skeleton waiting for that reply."
You ever watched the movie Johnny Dangerously?
I've heard about it. That's not
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, that's like an old Cagney.
Old Cagney lives like on the 50th floor, and there's no elevator. And you just saw bodies on the skeleton bodies on the stairs on the way up.
And Joe Piscopo is the bad guy, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Joe Piscopo. I don't remember
all the big names, but it was just every time the doctor went to see his mother, it was just like, "Oh, Johnny, I think she needs a new liver. Johnny, she needs a new." He was putting a price tag on the dogs. I forget. We gotta talk about this.
Yes,
next week. I can go on with this movie.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we have to go.
Yes. It's kind of late for us too. We have to go to our lovely job tomorrow.
And what is our mantra?
I love it. I love my job.
That was such a
job. The job that you've been away for a week. Welcome back, buddy.
Oh fuck.
We missed you.
I did not.
I missed you.
I didn't. The job, at least, I didn't. Fuck no. Anyway, this has been the Husky Barbu podcast, and we will hear from you, or you will hear from us next week. Take care, everybody.
Peace out, everyone.